What's up, Ranger Nation, Toku Nation, and every nation in between? It's me, your boy JB, and I am back with Avataro Sentai DonBrothers. This is episode 7, you guys. So, before we go ahead and get into it, if you guys are watching this or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed, I'm going to need you guys to do me the favor in liking the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, and sharing the video. And with that out of the way, Ranger Nation, let's discuss Avataro Sentai DonBrothers episode number 7, shall we? Alright, guys, so I was going to do a separate video just talking about episode number 5 and episode 6, but I think what I'll do is I'll just talk about it here. So I gotta say that overall, I am really enjoying DonBrothers. Each episode, we have more questions, but I find myself enjoying them more and more, right? I thoroughly enjoyed episode 5, and episode 6 was an interesting one with Kiji brother and, him basically feeling inadequate, right? Inadequate, subpar, things of that nature, right? Very good episode. Very, very good episode. So, yeah, and then we also found out more about the Cerebrans. We found out about that they're getting a point system, right? Now, they don't know who's keeping track of the points. We know who's keeping track of the points. Now, see, I don't know if this is Kaido from Zenkaiger or if it's another, but the person who is Kaido, that person is keeping track of the points, right? So we know that, but like I said, the DonBrothers, they don't know it. So then so this episode, it opens up, so we see Oni's sister. So, she's in her class, and I guess at some points in time, they have a special class, right, where people come in and in a way kind of give their life experiences, right? So today the person that's coming into the class is Saru brother, right? Now we know Saru brother, they call him the professor, right? But we also know that Saru brother has never had a job, and he does his haikus, right? So he does come in and he's doing his haikus as well. So one of the students asked him the question of, like, what do you do for work, right? So he tells him, I have never had a job a day in my life, right? So they're like, how do you survive? Then he goes further and tells him he doesn't even like money, and I can get it, if he's because some people are germaphobes and they don't like to, the exchange of money, because, you never know. I mean, with when you think about money, you don't know where it's been, right? It could have been in God knows, it could have been in a multitude of places, right? So he's talking about money, right? So then he starts, eating, right? He's eating these imaginary noodles, right? And then at one point, the students, they noticed that he was eating, their imaginations allowed them to see that he was eating noodles, right? So that was the whole purpose for him, right? He wants them to basically use their imagination. Now, I don't know if him saying use your imagination is a thing of like manifestation, but there's only so far, your imagination can only go so far, right? You can only imagine, you can imagine that you're eating things, but your body is not going to take that in, right? And when it comes to bills and stuff, right? You can imagine that you're making money, but them bills are not going to get paid by your imagination, right? So, Oni's sister, she was the only one who wasn't imagining something at that time, but then she started imagining something, and then we see her, she's imagining that she's in a battle. So she starts flipping around, she flipped around the room, and she, almost karate chopped, but then the door opened, and it was Momotaro, right? He stopped, he's like, yo, what's going on here, right? And she's like, oh man, I forgot. There were going to be 2 guest speakers today, right? So I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to move forward, you guys. All right, you guys. So the principal of Oni's sister school, right? So we saw him in the episode. He was sneezing, right? And then at one point he disappeared. And I was like, okay, interesting, right? Now, I say all that to say the monster in this week's episode, he appeared and disappeared, right? which is Oni's sister's principal. So we see this guy. He's walking on the street, right? And he littered. And the monster was right behind the dude and just roughed him up, beat his ass. I'm like, damn. He's like, don't litter. I'm like, so you have to beat his ass because he littered? That's fucked up, right? So then we see Inu brother. So Inu brother, he's walking in the streets, right? And when he saw that, he's transformed, right? But he really couldn't battle with this monster because, granted, he did make it appear at one point, but then it disappeared and it ran away again. I was like, okay, interesting. So then we move back over to the classroom where Momotaro and Saru brother and Oni's sister are, right? So I kind of got the feeling that this was like, so she was telling people, so when Oni's sister was talking about it, she was talking from the vantage point, you know, that people are coming in telling about their life experiences, right? So I thought about it. I kept sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, this sounds kind of like career day. You know, like when you're in high school, in middle school and stuff, and you know you have career day where affluent people from your community come in, tell you what they're doing with their lives, or your friend or your parents go in and be like, hey, you know, I do this, I do that, answer the questions, right? And that's kind of what it is. Momotaro, basically in a nutshell, he told them, I deliver packages. When I take them to the people, that's it. Then I get back up the next day and do the same thing. I'm like, well, damn. You can't make it a little bit enthusiastic? Like, show a little bit of enthusiasm. So he was getting ready to walk out the room, and Saru brother asked him, like, yo, what's up? Like, why are you here? So we find out that Oni's sister, her principal called him, told him to come down to told someone from their company to come down. Well, they did rock, paper, scissors, right? Rock, paper, scissors. And we all know that he doesn't know how to play rock, paper, scissors, right? So he lost that game, so he's the one that came down there, right? So then one of the girls asked him, does he have a girlfriend? He says no. She asked him what color underwear he had on. He looked and he said peach colored. So then everybody started laughing, and Oni's sister stood up and said, I don't think you should be answering that question, right? So also I forgot to mention that everyone in the school is calling her the plagiarist, right? So she's, like I said, she stood up. She told him she doesn't think he should answer that question. Her classmates told her basically to shut the fuck up, in not so many terms. Shut the hell up. So I'm gonna pause here, you guys, and I think we're gonna start wrapping up the episode. All right, you guys. So we move over. Now remember, I told you this monster, he keeps appearing and disappearing, right? So we see this lady as she's actually, it's a red light, right? And well, here's the interesting thing. So in Japan, they can't cross on red because in the subtitles it said he told her don't cross on red, and when he did that, she got sucked up into this paper, right? And I was just like, don't cross on red, but that's when you want to cross. So she's supposed to cross on green? Now I don't know how it is in Japan, right? But I know that they do have this. I know they have the signs, right, that tells you to go and stop, right? Kind of like what we have here in the States. You have your go. You have your pause. It'll tell you this, right? Especially here in Dallas. Ours has a hand, and it'll count down. It'll count down from, maybe. Actually, I think it's like 20 seconds, right? So it counts down. So I was like, don't cross on red. What if that sign didn't work for her, right? Shit, she got to cross on red. Like some of ours here in Dallas, they do not work. I wish they would fix some of these signs. Like some of these signs do not work. Like you can press it and to tell you to go, and it never changes. So shit, you gotta wait. So that happened. So when she got something to the paper, Kiji brother was there, right? So he falling behind, and then we see Inu brother who's right behind him, right? So we move back over to the classroom where Saru brother is asking Momotaro if he has any friends. And he says no. So then Saru brother as well as Oni's sister ask him, well, what are we? He says you guys are companions, right? So then, they start asking him for help, right? One kid thinks that he's being very arrogant. He's also, I think, like the captain of the karate team. So he gets a chair. He punches a hole into the chair. He asks Momotaro, "Can you do that?" Momotaro got a stack of chairs and whop, slashed it in half, right? So then there was another student that challenged him to something, right? He outshined him. Then, Saru brother and Momotaro, they had who Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, right? How much wood can a woodchuck chuck? This one I cannot get is a tongue twister. She sold seashells by the she sold seashores. She see, I can't get it right. It's a tongue twister. So they did thumb wrestling, sumo wrestling, and then the tongue twister. See, she sold seashells by the seashore. I had to say it slow. She sold seashells. She sold seashells by the seashore. She sold seashells by the seashore. It's a lot of C's and she's in that, right? So, they did that. So then the principal, he arrived in the classroom, right? And people started hearing him talk, right? So one person tried to run out, no relationships, no running in class, no talking in class, no trying to leave class early. So he sucked them in, right? So then Momotaro, Saru brother, as well as Oni sister, they transformed. But then we see Kiji brother and Kiji brother and Inu brother, their avatar changers. Remember in the earlier episodes with Oni's sister, it just appeared and transformed her, right? So then we see them, they're in this classroom, and the principal is there. He's trying to teach them manners, but his manners are piss poor at best, right? So he tells them that if they defy what he says, the spirits of those people that are trapped in those papers, they'll burn in hell. I was like, well, damn, that's rude as shit, right? So Momotaro, he was laughing hysterically, right? Basically defying him, and then he had to basically tell him, like, dude, you're defying as well, right? So they're battling. So then, they knock him out Momotaro knocked him out the classroom, and then we see the Cerebrans, right? So I don't know. I know Sonoza. He's the one that has that. Sonoza. He's the one with that terrible that can't laugh, and is just so affected. Sonoza, Sonoy, and Sonomi, I believe that's their names. One of them was battling with Momotaro, right? But eventually Momotaro, I don't know what happened, but I know Momotaro, he did the finishing act on the monster, right? The monster grew, and then once he grew, that's when he called on the mech, and he basically defeated him and returned everything back to normal, right? Now, at the end of the episode, we saw as Momotaro was whipping his team's ass because he wasn't pleased with the way they battled. So that's the episode, you guys. Overall, really good episode, and overall, I am thoroughly enjoying Avataro Sentai DonBrothers. This is a great season, right? Now, you guys, I did enjoy Zenkaiger last season. The reason why I stopped reviewing Zenkaiger was when I moved out of my old apartment, and I kind of wish I didn't, but we're going to continue to rock and roll every week with DonBrothers episodes. Now, the reason that I didn't do episode number 5, that was because the website that I used, episode 5 wasn't up until days later. But I'm going to keep up with it, right, you guys? I'm going to keep up with it. So when it comes to the reviews, you guys will typically see, if you guys don't see them on Tuesday, at the latest, you will see them on Thursday, right? So that's the latest that you will see it. And if you don't see it on Thursday, then probably, if you don't see it between Tuesday and Thursday, then you'll see it on Saturday when I do my Dino Fury videos, right? But I only have, 4 more episodes of the Dino Fury, the first half. Because I did episode 7 last week. So episode 8 is this week. So yeah. But yeah. So you guys should. So when it comes to Don Brothers reviews, if you don't see it on Tuesday, the latest you're going to see it is on Thursday. But that's it, Ranger Nation and Toku Nation. I hope you guys stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, wear a mask if you choose to, and be safe and be blessed. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace out, you guys.